Meanwhile, European troops have arrived in Greenland over the past few days as President Trump continues to push for control of that island. On Wednesday, top diplomats from Denmark and Greenland met with Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio at the White House. The foreign officials left the meeting saying a fundamental disagreement remains, but added those talks will continue. Joining us now from Denmark is the ranking member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Senator Jeanne Shaheen of New Hampshire. She just spoke to students at the University of Copenhagen about the importance of America's relationship with that country. Senator, thank you for being with us. I mean, it says everything that you are spending your time in Denmark right now, based around what we're seeing, the hostility from the Trump administration toward Greenland, controlled for a long time by Denmark. What are you hearing there on the ground about fears around where this may be headed?
Well, I'm here with a bipartisan, bicameral delegation, and we're here to listen to the people of Denmark. We had a meeting earlier today with the Prime Minister here. The Prime Minister of Greenland was part of that meeting, to hear their concerns about what President Trump has been saying, and to reinforce the importance of the historic relationship that we have with Denmark and with Greenland. We're all founding members of NATO. Denmark was one of the first countries to recognize the United States back in 1792. We have fought alongside each other in 2 world wars in Afghanistan. Our soldiers have fought and died together because of the importance of this relationship. And we are concerned, and what we're hearing from the Danes, what I heard from the students here at the University of Copenhagen, is real frustration and disappointment and distress over the fact that the United States has been a friend, and they don't understand why Donald Trump's rhetoric has turned, what they perceive as turned on Denmark and Greenland. So it's important, I think, to be here and to continue to focus on the relationship and to let people know that there is bipartisan support in Congress for the relationship, for the continued importance of the participation in NATO, and that what President Trump is talking about in terms of militarily taking Greenland would totally undermine NATO and undermine our own national security.
And Senator, as you know, part of what makes this so extraordinarily strange, all of this hostility, is that the Danes have said time and time again, you are an ally. You already have a base on Greenland, United States of America. You can make it bigger if you'd like. You can add another base or a third base. We are allies here, and we're willing to work with you. So what is your sense, then, of why this administration is talking about buying it or taking it by force?
I have no idea. And I think the prime ministers of both Denmark and Greenland this morning reiterated that we've had this treaty with Greenland since 1951. We used to have 17 bases there. America closed 16 of those bases. It's very important to have that presence close to the Arctic. We know our adversaries are moving into the Arctic, Russia and China. And what both Greenland and Denmark have said is that they want to partner with us. They're willing to work with us on whatever our interests are. And I think it's been frustrating for everybody who's watching this debate that the White House has not been clearer about what they really want.
And Senator, even beyond relations with Denmark, let's take a half step back and talk about NATO writ large. We've seen other European countries say they'll put troops in Greenland for security drills, but also perhaps as a deterrent for the United States. And just even if the U.S. does not actually launch a military operation in Greenland, even this talk is putting such strain on the alliance. It would seem to be fulfilling Vladimir Putin's top goal. Sure, he'd love Ukraine, but what he really wants is NATO to fall apart. This pressure could lead to that.
Well, absolutely. Donald Trump is playing right into the hands of Russia and China, for that matter, because anything that splits the transatlantic alliance, anything that splits NATO, only benefits our adversaries. And one of the things that is so critical to America's security is our allies and partners. And what this president is doing is antagonizing and alienating the very countries and their leaders that we need in order to help make sure America is secure.
Senator, while we have you, would like to turn to another spot on the globe, and that's the ongoing situation in Iran. Obviously, major protests there for a couple of weeks now. President Trump has talked about U.S. intervention. He has not, to this point anyway, authorized any military strikes. Unclear if he will do. We have reporting that suggests they're still on the table, but unclear if he'll give a yes or a no. What would your thoughts be? Would that be an appropriate use of American force?
Iran is weaker than at any time since the revolution. And there are a lot of reasons for that. But what we're seeing right now among the Iranian people is protests because of what's happened to the economy in Iran. People can't afford to buy groceries. They can't afford to eat. The lack of freedom. The first thing that the Iranian government did was cut off access to the Internet so that the outside world couldn't see the repression and slaughter that's going on in Iran right now against the Iranian people. So I think letting the Iranian people know that we are concerned about what's happening there, we're thinking about it, but I think we have to be very thoughtful about any military action that we take, because it has the potential to force the government to crack down more on its people. It also has the potential to rally protesters behind the government if they think they're being attacked by the United States. And it's not at all clear how strikes and bombing in Iran is going to help the people who are being attacked by their own government. So I think diplomacy is the first route. We should be talking to the Iranians. We should be trying to build international opinion against what's happening there so we can support the citizens of Iran.
Ranking member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, covering a lot of ground for us this morning from Copenhagen, Democratic Senator Jeanne Shaheen of New Hampshire. Thanks so much, Senator, for your time. We appreciate it.